I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Tacking my patch pieces in here. I got this one tacked in. I'm tacking the other one. Tack it, and we're going to make these pieces. You see me? Alright. Tack it, tap it. Tack and tap. Tack and tap. This is going to be all under the carpet. I'm trying to replicate the tacks that match the rest of the floor. They just tacked everything every ½ inch. So some of the seams that need to be anchored I've welded all the way. But the other ones that are going to be visible, well, it's going to be under carpet, but I'm going to try to make it match what was here. So I've tacked every ½ inch here. I got my 2 pieces welded in. Just going to dress them up with a grinder a little bit, then we'll start forming this lower panel here. That looks good. These tacks match the tacks up there. Got that seam cleaned up nice. Looks pretty good. Let's start fabbing. Alright, so I got the lower piece of the trunk floor, the front of the belly pan actually, tacked to the axle bracket. And this was originally a sheet metal angle, but I'm going to put a little bit more structure in here and frame it out with angle and skin it with sheet metal. It'll be the same effect. I got that laid out and tacked in place. I'm making my side rail pieces now, which were angle iron that the sheet metal all skinned to. Then the piece for the tool tray comes across about here, and the gas tank sits down in this. It's like a 10-inch deep floor, and that steps up so the belly pan is flat, and then it kicks up at an angle to about 3 inches to meet the back of the car here. I'll get this tied in, we'll get all this structure, get all the framework made, and then can start skinning it with the sheet metal. Alright, here's the trunk floor. So I'm going to go ahead and frame the outside work of this, then I'll set the gas tank in there and just make sure it's got clearance under the floor, and then I'll work on this. So I got these tacked in. This is good. Now the back of the car is really stiffened up quite a bit. We wanted to be loosey-goosey before, so it stiffened it right up. So we'll get these pieces framed across here. Alright, so I set the tank back in here just so I can see the height of the belly pan's got to be, because the sides are all rotted off the original one. I can't tell how deep it's supposed to be. But I got the filler neck pushed in here, which is about 10 pieces of angled tubing all welded together. But it goes up just under the floor, and it sits in here at an angle about like this. So the sending unit can clear the floor. I just wanted to double check that to make sure I didn't get it too small and the tank wouldn't fit. But I'm not sure what this tank came out of, but it's got the old filler hole leaded in there or soldered in, and it's got a new one over here on the side. The trunk floor is wooden with like plywood with strips and rubber mat on it. What's nice is if you had to work on the gas tank, you just lift up the wooden floor and there it is. You can work on it. You can change the fuel filler. You can fix or change the sending unit. You can fix the hose on it. Anything you gotta do, and then you could get to the filler neck through the wheel well. So that's pretty good thinking ahead. Everything is real easy to work on. I've got the bottom of the belly pan framed in now with the sidewall tied into here, just all tacked together. But because I'm going to skin these lower pieces, and then the upper sheet metal will come down over and overlap and tack on. That's how it was done originally. Then we'll box all this in. So it's looking good. Don't forget to follow along. It's also on Instagram here, #ThomasRocketCar. So if you want to follow along on Instagram, I'm posting some more detailed shots. So I'm trying to stay as true as possible to how it was originally, but with so much rust, it's hard to know exactly what it looked like, but I'm trying to do the best to do what I think it looked like, so it's going to be pretty close. I got all this framed in now. Actually, I'll bring it down so you can take a closer look. Come on down! Oh! You can see the framework. Here's the patching up the rear end. You can see the rear end bracket here. I'll use my shadow. The rear end bracket here. Those inner fender wells are trashed. But this is coming out good. The whole back of the car is tied in nice and sturdy now. It doesn't move it around at all. It used to flex around all over the place because there was nothing really attaching it, so it's looking real good. Okay, here we are making the patch panels for down here in the behind the rear end. What I did is I made pieces out of 16 gauge steel, because that's what that was there, 16 gauge. I've etch primed where it's going to be in between here, and what I'm going to do, so these are going to weld in like this, and I'm going to do a panel in the center last. But I got this one all set up ready to weld. I'm going to plug weld it all the way around to my angle iron, and then skip lap the seams on the sheet metal side, and then plug weld and skip lap up on top. But I'm going to get this all tied in, then we can skin the sides of this with some 18 gauge because it has bead rolls in it for strength, and we'll be making some good progress here. So I'm going to start tacking and tapping and going from there on here. Let's get her done. There you have it. Bam! This will get ground down and some seam sealer just to blend the seam out. I'll hit the plug welds, but attach this to the back of the strut, the shock bracket. Tack that on. This is all tied in nice and tight now. This all just, these seams will just get seam sealer. Then carpet gets all over this anyway, so you won't even see any of it. But I'll seam seal it and paint it up nice so it'll look just like the original. So I'll go ahead and get this one in, welded in, and we'll start making these side pieces. Alright, so I got this all made here. Everything's all done. Welded up all the way around. Got the center patch panel here, which also plug welded in to the bracketry for the rear end. So everything's tied up nice. Next thing I'm going to do is fabricate these side panels with a couple pieces of bead roll in them. What I'm doing to make this pattern is I got some masking paper for painting cars, and I've rolled it out here and got it taped on flush to the top of this because the panel's going to be flush. I'm just going to trace it out on the back here with this marker and then cut it out. That'll be my pattern to make the sheet metal. I'm just going to pull it tight and trace it out here with a marker. I'll take this paper and trim it with the scissors. And lay it on the steel and then cut the steel out. So what happens is you set the marker down too close to where you're welding. It gets a little mushy. So I'm just going to untape this from the top of the thing here. Voila! Little arts and crafts action. I'll just cut it out, lay it out on the sheet metal, and trace it out, and we'll cut that out. So I got my 18 gauge here. I'll go ahead and trace this out. Here's the tip. You see that these cut a swath out of the metal? You always want to make sure you cut on the correct side of the line because you'll be a 1/4 inch shy all the way around if you don't. Don't think I haven't done that before. But we'll take it over and look at it and see how it looks on the car. Look at that. Pretty good. Just going to trim it where it meets back here in the back of the car. It's going to take forever to cut my hand. I'll use the Beverly shear again. Come up here for the shear cam. Because I've placed all these clamps right where I need to walk. Just go ahead and lip the tip off of this. Oop. Bam! Took it all off in a nice little roll. If you get one sheet metal tool that you use all the time, it's this Beverly shear. You can trim around corners, edges, this thing's awesome. I'll show you quick. The sweet action, you can go on here. I can start cutting, this is 16 gauge. I can cut it, I can start rolling it around. If I want to make a convex cut like that, or I can roll it around the other way as I'm cutting. And this is thick material, so it's a little stiff, but I've cut 14 gauge of this. Rolled it around the other way, made a cut like that. This is an awesome shear. They're expensive. My friend bought this one at a swap meet for me, but I think he paid like $150 for it used, but that's a hell of a deal. They're usually $300 or $400. So it's an invaluable tool. I'm going to go ahead and hold this up here again and see how it looks. Oh, we're still on the shear cam. Come over here to the car cam. By George, I think that's got it. Alright, the bead rolling portion of this project is brought to you by Genesee Light from the Genesee Brewing Company. It always helps to have a little Genesee Light before you start bead rolling to make those nice straight lines. Ah, that's refreshing. Now then, everything's everywhere. I got my panel, I ground the rust off the back. I got it on the front here. We're going to do some bead rolling action. Now I just started here with a little, I don't know if you can see it, a little bead roll action here just to line it, just to check it out compared to the car. This car's got like a tight little bead roll, and that I think is going to match. So what I got here is a Made in USA Eastwood manual bead roller, and basically all you do is you crank the sucker. I put my dies on. There's a male and a female die, and they come together like so, and you roll them and press the metal presses together in the die. So I took out my big dies and I put in my little die. We're going to go ahead and roll this. Let's see, this is the outside. I want the beads facing inside because that's how the rest of the wheel wells are. So this is the outside of the driver's side panel. We'll go ahead and roll it. Now this is easier when there's two people here, but it's late at night, nobody's around, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do this by myself with the aid of Genesee light. So I'm just going to go and crank on the handle here and watch the line. Try to keep this going straight. Just follow the marker line. Uh-oh, something in the way. Junk in the way. There we go. Back it out. Back it out straight here. You can see where two people make this a lot easier. There's one, almost cut my head off. There's one bead roll. It puts a curve in the panel. I'll have to flatten. I mean, this will flatten back out when I put it on the car. It'll flatten back out. But so there's one roll. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Bam! There it is. A couple of nice bead rolls. A couple of nice bead rolls on the panel. All right, let's weld this in. Ready to go. Look at that! Looks good. The bead rolls in there. It's coming out nice. Now this other side, I gotta figure out where the gas tank hole's gotta be because the filler nut goes through it, so I gotta trim it out and get it ready to go, but this is coming out good. Alright, here's the passenger side piece ready to go in. I used the bead roller and put a lip around the fuel filler hole here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this welded on this side. Okay, so I got the lower part of the trunk done. The driver's side's all done. The back of the by the rear end mount. Then here I got the right side panel in, and I also cut the fuel filler hole, and I bead rolled a little edge around that to give it a little bit of detail and strength. So the perimeter of this trunk's pretty much all set. Also made the start of the belly pan here mounted out to the end of the trunk, or the tail pan. So this is tied in nice now, and then I can tie the rest of the belly pan into it flat. Look. So we're looking under here, so you can see how much this has been fab back up here. It's starting to become solid again. Fire up the welder! I'm gonna go grab a Jenny light and think about the progress for a minute, and then I'll be right back. It helps when you plug it in. Ah! Gotta plug it in, hold on. Hold on, we're plugging it in. No! Alright, hit it! That's better. That's better, let's do it! Let's hit it! Alrighty then. Tack and tap! Tack and tap it! Here we go.